Your space once again is being invaded by the one and only infamous Kentucky Yankee. That is I, your host. Today we're going to be doing a little outboard repair on my 15 horsepower Johnson. I encourage each and every one of you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We'll start off with the water pump. This is what comes with the water pump kit. It is an original Equipment Johnson Evinrude kit. A little bit more money for factory parts, but if you can swing it, I think you're better off. So I don't scratch the paint, I'm going to move the shifter down so it should come down, I think, with the shaft. So if you peek in here on this back side of the lower unit, you'll see this screw right there and or bolt. This needs to be loosened up and then the whole thing will come down. Pry it right here from the very top just a little bit. Easy. And there we go. 4 bolts. I'm using a 7/16 socket to remove them. Interesting, standard sizes, but this is a United States made product, so maybe that's why. The impeller is inside this little housing here. We'll just slip it off. Our drive pin, which fell out. Clean all this surface up. A little pre-assembly. You're going to have extra parts because this kit fits different models. This little seal go on next. I'll grease that little seal a little bit. This big fat O-ring goes on the outside. Now this piece is ready. First, our new plate will go just like that. Our new impeller, but we first have to put our pin right here on this flat spot, and it goes vertical. Sticky grease and a new pin. You probably can't even see it in the grease there, but there's a pin going vertical. Just line it up with the slot on the impeller. All greased up so it's not dry when it first starts spinning. Ease it down and turn the shaft clockwise. Whoop, it's got to be in neutral. This little piece has to line up with the plastic housing. The kit came with brand new bolts and they've already got Loctite on them. Crisscross pattern and then torque to spec. Whatever that is, I don't know. Make sure your shifter linkage is all the way back up for reinstallation. Clean these surfaces up. This where the O-ring goes right there and this pipe. Good enough for who it's for. All these bolts had Loctite, so I'm going to put some more back on them. Should go up nice, smooth, and easy. I would be doing everyone on YouTube a disservice if I did not tell you that I had trouble assembling the lower unit. Some of you may have noticed I struggled getting that thing up in there. Things weren't lining up right and I was banging on a little bit and trying to wiggle it and this and that. That is certainly and always not the way to go, and I did pay for my mistake. In my case, because the boat has remotes, I really needed 2 people. I needed somebody up at the gear shift while I was in the back trying to line things up. The issue I ran into was the pipe didn't line up with the hole you know, for the water pump to run the water up and into the engine. Bolted it all together and it didn't work. So I took it all back apart, took my time, lined everything up properly like I'm supposed to. Now we're all good. So just a reminder, take your time guys, don't get in a hurry. Now let's rebuild the carburetor. First, all this recoil and stuff has to be took off. Three bolts, and then there's a little lever over here on the side. It's right here. Can you see that? Not really an air filter, but a little air box, I guess you could call it. Here's a screw here, and one right here. Can't remember if there's one more or not. And that's a knot. We've located the carburetor right here. The fuel line is located right here and couldn't be harder to get a view on. There's a nut right here and another one on the other side holding the carburetor on. We need to get those off. There's 7/16 and they are tough to get to. This is actually the easy one right here. This other side, it's ridiculous, but it can be done. I've got it loose. Could take the top of the carburetor off to make it easier to access these nuts. And there it is. My carburetor also has this little line that goes to the primer. Yours most likely won't have that. It'll just have a pull choke. Carburetor kit. Again, original equipment. It came with a float and everything I need. We'll start on the top. The issue I was having with this carburetor, by the way, was it was hard starting and it seemed like it's not getting enough fuel at idle. Now for the bowl. Looks very clean inside so far, but that doesn't mean a little orifice or something's not stopped up. Not a surprise, by the way. 2 strokes with oil in them. They're usually kind of clean like this. They're not usually all corroded and stuff. The oil keeps them from corroding. Not a whole lot to this carburetor. I'm going to take a few more things apart, clean all these little orifices out. It's got all kinds of little tiny orifices everywhere. Then we'll put it back together. I don't think this rebuild was necessary in my case, but this engine is new to me and I just wanted to check things over. You can go deeper. I'm not on this carburetor because it's so clean. But you can take this cap off. It comes with a new one and there's an orifice in there and you can take it all apart, clean it all up. You know, if your carburetor is trashed and garbage. But this one's not, so I think it's going to be fine. New seat, new needle, new float, that's not necessary. New pin. The float level I could tell is set right. I'm not going real into depth with this, but it needs to be kind of just level, you know. Nice new fresh gasket. Crappy old bowl. That's still in good shape. Pretty sure my issue with this carburetor was it was just out of adjustment. I should have fiddled with it a little bit more before I did this. But again, I just wanted a nice new fresh kit in it. Can't hurt. If you learn anything from me at all, remember, always crisscross. Nice new gasket. I removed the old gasket. Now time for a nice fresh new one. I'm going to hook up my 2 little lines at this point because they're hard to get the zip ties around them. I did make a mistake. I forgot to hook up some linkage here. I believe I'm going to have to take this top back off, and like I said earlier, I guess I'll just bolt the carburetor up first, then put the top back on after the linkage. Alright, so a couple things I need to slow down. First, the choke. Before you bolt it up, you got to hook the choke in. So that's all that is right there. I hope you saw it. So that part's done. Now we got to get the linkage on the other side. So actually, before the linkage, we'll get our nuts put back on here that hold the carburetor on. Oh. This one on this side is much easier now with the top off. It would have been better to remove it before I remove the carburetor too. The linkage I spoke of is this one right here. Goes like that, just like that, and that roller goes right there. Watch this roller as I give it throttle. So that's how that works. In order to raise the idle up on my engine, I had to make two adjustments, and this was the first one. Here in the back of the engine, there's a screw right there, and I had to raise that up, tighten it up, so it would raise up the timing and the fuel, or not fuel, but air intake. After that, the more obvious adjustment needed to be made, that is the air-fuel mixture, the screw right here. With those two adjustments done, it will now idle for days and runs great. We will replace the oil in the lower unit and check it out, see what it looks like. It's not going to flow out fast until I get the top screw out. Just for fun, I'm showing you this. Now watch what happens. No difference. Yeah, I kind of suck. Well, listen. It should be going faster because now it's got air so it can run down through there. So I don't know what happened. A little air pressure. It's not the warmest day, that's why it's not coming out too fast. So here's our oil, and it is black. I mean black, which is better than chocolate milk. If it was chocolate milk, it'd have water in it and we'd have to replace some seals. Now time to fill her up. They make special tools for everything if you have the cash and can afford them. I do not, so this is the way I do it. Shove the bottle here, and squeeze. Nice and full. Stick this screw in there. Quickly stick my screw right there. Tighten her up before it all runs out. And it's still wanting to run out a little bit, so I know I got it full. Just put the screw in here and we're done. So these are a few things you can do if you just purchased an engine and don't know anything about it, or you have an engine that's been laying around for a few years and it needs a little bit of maintenance done to it. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. This is the one and only infamous Kentucky Yankee signing out.